All right, let's see. Check something. All right, everybody. All right. Got people on finally. Wait a little bit here, guys, just to make sure some people can pop on. Everybody know that we're going live here. So, okay. So yeah, we're gonna kind of cover XCS 2.0, all the good stuff. So, let's see what we got. Again, everybody's gonna bear with me. We're getting better at this every time, but like I said, it's just something fun to play with every time we do this. So again, if you guys have questions, just put them in the chat. We'll go over them as soon as we can. We'll get them popped through. Like I said, we're going to go through a basic, overview of XCS 2.0, just kind of show everybody where the new stuff is at, how it looks, especially people that are coming from 1.7. I think more and more people are actually getting into 2.0. So let's say hi, Todd, Joe, and Zoe. But yeah, so again, if you guys got any questions, throw them in the chats, and we'll go through them. Again, I got some stuff I'll show you guys that I know, and sometimes I forget stuff, so it's one of those things. Just gonna wait for a few more people to pop in here. Hopefully, not we'll get going here in a minute. So and I'm gonna try something new, and we'll see if this works at the end. But I'm gonna kind of show you what the different things are on Android. Also, I got my screen. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up for you guys to show you. Like I said, we'll bring up XCS here in a second, so I can show you everything that's going on. Get kind of give you guys a little history of myself. Uh, I do tool and die during the day right now, and then we do all kinds of laser stuff. We started a laser business a year ago, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm also a demo host for X Tool, so that's why we have a P2. I got an Ultra, S1, and then I have an F1 and a D1 hiding over the corner. So a little bit of everything. I don't have the M1 brand, so I can cover pretty much everything besides the M1s I don't know a lot about. So you guys see me stopping and just looking, I'm reading the chat. So again, it's one of those things. Doing this by myself. I do have somebody feeding me some questions, so it'll help me a little bit. Um, it's awesome. Awesome getting the Ultra. So far, I took me a minute to get the laser calibrated, but I was a little worried on some stuff. But just remember the laser to calibrate the red dot, you can rotate it. So that made a big difference for me, and now we're selling all kinds of cool stuff. So love the name. Get rid of that. All right. So I guess we'll start here, guys. Let's see, minimize that. So right now, XCS 2.0 for the guys, people that haven't dived into doing this. I know it's beta. I love 2.0. You're silly to still be in 1.7 just for the fact that I can run multiple lasers at the same time if I want to. Um, as you can see, these are all the lasers I actually got. I can connect to. Um, so I do have quite a slew in the shop. So sorry, guys. Again, I'll stop every once in a while because I'm going to read. But we're gonna try to go through this real quick. That's one of the biggest benefits of 2.0 is being able to run. You can run up to 6 lasers at one time, or you can do 6 different files for the same laser. I mean, you can have 6 of them open and working on all of them at the same time, or run them all at the same time. It doesn't matter. I run all mine off Wi-Fi, every single one of them. I'm not gonna say the D1 I'll run off Wi-Fi. I've had issues with that, but I got the D1 non-pro, so it's before they upgraded stuff. So I know that works way better plugged in. So I'll usually do that. But again, just kind of basic going through. You can run, like I said, I got, and obviously you can see I got different. So this is Frankie's my S1. We'll go over some of this stuff. That's why I got these up here. Um, I got my F1. You can see the screens are all different. That's why I like that one. Just asked me to switch. They wanted to know. So P2, obviously, need to clean my grate. And then my F1. So everyone's going to have a little bit of a different screen. That's why it'll ask you to switch every time. So we will cover that, Terry. I think I'll have the fix for that. That's why I had to hurry up and get my F1 plugged in, actually, because the people think that it's not a factory reset and all that stuff. I don't think that's what it is. I haven't had an issue with my F1, but you do have to turn a setting on in your F1. And we'll go over that here in a little bit. I want to make sure more people are on before we do that. And let's see. So real quick overview. XCS, your settings for XCS. Actually, we'll start with the home screen. This is what you actually get when you load XCS into your screen. You'll have all your recent files. So these are all my recents. We did a bunch of trade shows last week, so it was like all kinds of good, cool stuff we did. You do have templates. If you want something that you can go through, these are things you can click on, and you can download, and you can run them. You know, these are all free ones. There is some ones down at the bottom that they are paid. So these are all paid ones down here. But these are all free files you can download and use the file as is. Some of them I think might have some copyright things on them, so be careful about that. But I don't think it's a preheat thing either, Terry. I'll show you. I got you. It's worked for me, and I'm not saying it's not the problem. I know some people have had issues on their F1 with the updates, but not yet. Oh, you're right. Good call, Joe. I will share my screen. See, I'm a rookie at this. All right, now, thank you. So I am up in the right-hand corner. I might turn my camera off to show you a couple things up in that right-hand corner, just to let you guys know. Why is it not showing the right screen? Where is it? It's weird going up right there. All right. So sorry guys, I didn't realize you didn't have my screen up. My bad. Again, rookie move. I got like 4 screens up. I'm not sure which one I'm looking at halftime. So like you guys said, you can run multiple lasers on your screens. You can run up to 6 lasers across top. They'll limit you at 6. This is your home screen in 2.0. Just to let anybody knows. You do have recent files are all right in the front. This is what it'll give you. So you have open from project, new project, MySpace, Design Find. Everybody doesn't know what Design Find is. That is XCS's version of kind of Etsy. You can find all kinds of stuff. So bear with me, guys. I lost my chat here. All right. So MySpace. So MySpace, you get like 10 megabytes, I think, of or gigabytes of storage space. So if you want to do stuff from other computers or move files from one to the other, you can use that feature. I use Dropbox, and I can just get a file anywhere I need it. I do pay for that service, but I get a very high rate of stuff. So that's my recommendations for that. But this is your home screen. So if you ever got to go back to home, that's what this will take you to home. This up here is kind of an information panel. This will tell you when there's new updates for the beta. Because right now, if you're on 1.7, it tells you you're up to date, and it's not going to be correct. So this will actually give you more of an up to date if there's a new update for 2.0. So no, E2 Laser is the name of our business, Terry. We are it's to do with both my boys. So that's where the E2 comes from. So just let you know. I love the questions, guys. Keep them coming. So, but yeah, so we'll go to the over these. So every one of these screens. So I got my F1 Ultra, I got my S2 or my S1 20 watt, P2 Ultra, and it's nice because it tells you what they are. You know what's on the screen, and obviously every single one has a different format. So that's where it's it lets you know. And if you want to add another one, it's going to tell me if it's going to switch. I'll give you this one and I'll show you guys. So it'll ask you to switch because I got 5 up right now. Still dragging me down. So if I wanted to switch, this one I want to go to P2. I don't have that one connected. Yeah. So right now it's going to ask me to switch. This is all it's doing is asking me to switch because it's got to change parameters for that laser. So it just let you know if you do have something designed on one and you switch to the other one, you will possibly lose settings. I don't know. I think they might have fixed it where you don't lose the settings, but obviously they won't be right from an S1 to a P2. So one of those things you just guys gotta watch for. So basic walkthrough. Your save as files, settings. This is all your basic stuff. Open project, close, all the basic stuff. Everybody should know where this stuff's at. Export SVG. So if you have a file you want to export out to somewhere else, that's what that's for. There also is another way to do it. This will export the whole workspace. So everything that's on the workspace, they'll do the whole thing. You have something on your workspace. Let's just do something real quick. There's an export as SVG. This will export. You can export one single item. So whatever you have selected, it'll export just that feature. This export will do. So that's the benefit here. So I don't have to do an export of the whole page. So let's see. Let's go down through the features. Real quick, we'll run through the settings. And again, this is all XCS settings. All the stuff on the side will be your left. So your units, they do have a hotkey now where you can switch between millimeters and inches. Control K, which is great. Auto snapping, that's another one that I love that they finally put a hotkey to. Control R, those two. Control R I use quite a bit. If you want a whole list of all the hotkeys, there is a view here in your settings. So under General, View. Let's see, English, Auto snap. That's when you go in and out. I know they keep these checked just because it helps me out for most of my stuff. The vector quality, high. Again, this is what I keep my stuff at. It's preference more than anything. So keeps original size. Importing a file, I recommend this highly. Just because if you import a file that's got slots or anything like that in it, and then you make it adjust to the thing. So just saying you're in a, F1, it's going to shrink it down to only 4 inches. It's going to mess up your file. So I highly recommend doing this. And then this DXF is a file that I used to use early on. It's more of a CAD file. That's where you get the close tolerances because it's got to shut off corners and stuff. But other than that, then the import and export custom parameters. This is another handy tool to have if you want to back up your settings when you save files. This will be something that people will tell you if there's a file that's down to download to back up your save settings for your lasers. So, and then just your drivers and your current update. So basic stuff like that. And everything's just a scroll down. I know they got drop downs you can like kind of do a fast go to, but it's just a straight scroll. So, and then obviously your save canvases. You can add up to 10 canvases for each one. Just by adding the plus button. You can also name them. So spell, stuff like that. So you name every canvas you want. The problem with this is you got to be careful is you don't know what's inside that demo. So when you save the file, obviously you save it as demo or something. so you know where to find those things. Because it doesn't, if you search these, they don't come up, obviously. That is one thing I found out that's kind of difficult. So, let's see what else we got. So obviously undo, go back, forward. We do your select, your pan button. Again, these are all handy. I mean, pan obviously is pan. There's a shortcut for that. I'll show you guys what that is here in a little bit. Um, Obviously, this is where you connect your lasers. If you ever get it where it says will not connect, even though it's like right now, it just says it's not connected. You click on it. It should be. It's for different iterations, is why you might use 10 canvases. If you got something that somebody wants a different design or you want different types of, we do a lot of earrings in ours. So maybe she's got, you know, one canvas is cowboy earrings, one canvas is something else, stuff like that. That's kind of what I would use the canvases for. Um, Let's go. Didn't turn that off last night. See, this will connect on kind of show what I'm explaining. Anyways, if it doesn't connect, he's booting up right now. So if it doesn't connect device. This is kind of the old school back to 1.7. It will 95% of the time. I don't have nothing connected to USB, so I'm not going to get nothing to show up. Mine are all on Wi-Fi. So give it a second, it'll populate the list. It loads up like this, and they're gray like this. When it gets done, show you. And then obviously you can go in and name all your lasers. So all mine got different names. So yeah, so when you save the file, it saves everything that's on those canvases. It does. It's still in that file. So each canvas isn't separate. It's still tied to that file. So nope, it's still tied back to the file. Everything's solid, still like this. So all these are grayed out. So if I just click on one of these, it will connect. The beep, and now I'm connected. So all else fails, if it does give you a fit up here and it says connect, it says, oh, I'm not connected. Go through down here and that will get you connected. Yes, we'll go over that, Joe. We'll go where you can actually go from canvas to canvas. You can actually go from tab to tab up here even now, which is actually very handy. So, because we had a tendency of having stuff in this canvas and over here in this one and then this file, and now I can go through and clean them up and put them all together. Or if you had like multiple things you wanted to do, save them, cut them out, delete them, go away, be done with it, and not have a file with a bunch of stuff floating around. I don't know where I saved that at. So all the time. So, but yeah, so multiple lasers, super handy, guys. I mean, this here is, I mean, with me is a game changer because like I said, I had 3 laptops sitting on my desk trying to run 3 lasers, and now I can run all my lasers at one time, which is keeping me busy. So, but runs that through. So that's the base. If you gotta want to shut this canvas tab, there's a little arrow right here, just shuts it over. Again, we're just doing a quick run through for the people who have hopped on. We're just kind of doing a real quick run through for 1.7, or sorry, 2.0 .117 is where we're at right now. So they have done 6 updates since the beta. And then I know it's still beta, guys, but it's worth going to it, and I'll show you why. Yes, all with one PC, Tracy. Telling you, you're gonna love it. One PC, that's all I need now. So run 6 lasers at one time. So because I can have all these are all connected. And I can run and I can go and send files to every single one of them. So I am Wi-Fi. I gotta be careful when I say this because I haven't like tried to wire connected 6 lasers. I gotta be careful specifying this because I haven't tried that. I do all my stuff off of Wi-Fi. So I know there is some COM issue sometimes, so I gotta be careful how I word that because I don't know if you run a block that you can run USB cables to 6 different lasers, but Wi-Fi, you can run 6 different lasers. So so no more than 6. Anything exciting. So that's the basics for this stuff. We'll go over here. So this is a new thing with the newest update. So it's a floating panel. It's growing on me. You kind of can put it wherever you want, but it's your easy set panel now. They pulled it off the tab. Um, so Tracy, killing me, man. Talked about this. So you need to get him. So now you have so we got that going across. Your user defined materials now at the top right corner. They actually give you quite a big list right off the bat, you know. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can just kind of go through. You click on, laser build leather, confirm. Um, it won't give you nothing until you put it, again, I gotta have something in the screen. And now it gives me settings for that leather. So and that's where so now they actually have a blue light reference, an IR reference also, which is nice. And again, they're references. So just remember that these settings aren't set in stone. You can change them. I have a very, very big tendency of changing speed on most of the stuff. I usually drop it at least 100, especially on the IR for leather, minimum of 100. So stuff like that. So again, this is a floater. You can put it wherever you want. It never disappears. It never docks. Again, something I'm still not sure if I like it or not. But again, so that's up there. Now with this, whenever you have a laser running, this is where you'll have it. So in process, if you go away from the process screen and come back, this is where you'll have the list of everything running. So if you click on that, it'll bring you back in the process screen. So yes, that is a nice handy feature. A lot of the docking things that you couldn't dock in 1.7, you can move all over the screen now. So same thing with the batch thing we'll go over. So this is another big thing that people have, especially if you're running multiple lasers, is your process screen. You can get out of it. You can minimize it once you process something and then come back. This will be where it's at. So yeah, we'll go over that in here in a second. That and obviously your settings for your laser now. So this is everything that's in your laser. If you want to change the name, this is where they're at. Firmware update, all that good stuff. All your device settings. If you want to turn buzzers off, pretty much all the lasers have this now where you can actually turn the buzzers off. I know a lot of people have said they're having issues with the S1 having the buzzer issue. I don't know if this is it. I don't know if I've actually done the firmware update on the new S1 yet for what people are having. I'm not saying I haven't. I'm not sure if I have. Because my stuff like that usually actually auto updates. So that's all those parameters. And so we got to be careful with this too. Every one of these is going to be different. So can I put it in? See if I can get it to yell at me. See like this, see where it says connection failed. I know it's connected. I know it's there, but for some reason it doesn't like to connect this way. Again, you go here, go to Wi-Fi. And so far, I've not had an issue with it connecting this way. As long as it shows up in your list, you're good to go. So again, if you guys got any questions, you want to know how to do something, put them on the screen. Like I said, we'll go over them. I'm just going to kind of go through the basics right now, running stuff through and all that good jazz right now. While we're in this for the F1, so this is the F1, just the basic F1 setup here. I know there's a few people on here that I know personally that are get a kick out of this one, especially if you're running this one. Will make your stuff half the speed what you're running right now. You go to auto planning, go to user define, the smart. In an earlier version of 2.0, it was defaulted on, and now it is defaulted off. Terry, this is the one that I was talking about. Recommend to go turn this on. It will make things faster and it will make things run better. And things will look like the power will come back. I'm telling you. You turn that one on, things will run way faster. I'll show you why, the difference. So if you have it off, we're running hello. I'll just do this, process this. So this is another thing we'll show you. Okay. It does warn you if you have it set for 1%, which is nice now too. This is another thing you'll learn here. Try this here. So this is another thing the XCS tells you. You do have a time. It tells you how long it takes. It tells you, it actually gives you the path of how this is going to run. You can actually watch it run. Again, the benefits of having 2.0. That was like stupid fast. So, but tells you how the laser is going to go, what it's going to do. Oh, I didn't have it engraved, so this is why it's doing this. I'm going to show you what engraved. So without the smart setting on, this is only on the F1, unfortunately. Only on the F1, not even the Ultra. I don't know why the setting is not on the Ultra, but it kind of bugs me. Right now, this says just to do this takes 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes to engrave this. Again, I'm at 1%. They're doing something stupid here. But obviously it's going to go across, speed up. But it's going to print it like a printer, like we normally have been seeing it do it, all that good stuff. If I go back, turn smart on, and I'll go to process. I'm not sure what it's going to do because it might stay the same now. It's going to make me look funny. It still should be faster. 58 seconds. So that's the difference between that smart being on and that smart being off, guys. Because the difference is now you totally eliminated all the white space, the wasted travels. And that's where, especially doing words, if you're going to shows, people that have the F1, just to go in here and do the letters now, dude, so fast. It's crazy. But it sucks when you forget to turn this on. So just let you know. This is to me is a game changer. So crazy. But then also there is other features in here you can do one by one or all together. All together now, just you used to in 1.7 you used to have to select everything and group it and put it all together. All together we'll let it go all at one time now. So I want to say double check when you do a tumbler though, just to make sure it's doing it all at one time. I think I did one and it still didn't do it all at once. So just double check it on the tumblers. And then the other thing it does let you do, yes, this is only on 2.0. None of this is in 1.7. So, the other option you get all the lasers. So the only one that you don't get on all the lasers is the smart feature. Everything else you can do on all the lasers, S1, P2, F1. Again, you can go actually change. You can go from bottom to top or top to bottom. You can actually change where it comes from, where it starts, which is a nice feature sometimes too. A lot of people always say they want to go from bottom to top because then they can push the smoke more toward the fan. So that's another. And this is all under the process planning. So if you don't have nothing selected, it normally is defaulted to auto. If you click on it and go to user define, it gives you a lot more features. So, yeah, let's go to the two. All of them have this feature. Like I said, they all can do that. They are going to be by laser, by layers, which is another thing we'll talk about here in a little bit. So, again, basic stuff. Just kind of going through all this stuff. Let's see what else you got. If you got a question with Zoom, I'm a big hotkey guy, just like you guys know, so my stuff will probably move a lot faster than most people's. Control, you hold down the control button to roll your wheel, zooms in and out. I think shift slides back and forth. Hold down the pan button and hold your mouse button. This is all, and it'll do the drag, so it switches you to the hand. So, and sometimes I get them mixed up. I'm getting anybody dizzy. I'm sorry. But run another go real quick. Obviously, if you got a P2 or an Ultra, anything with a camera, right click, you can hide the background, go back to the regular screen. If you do lose your screen, see if I can lose it here. So it's gone. I don't know where my workspace is at. You come down here where it says 100%, you got fit screen, like that. It normally comes back. I've had one time it didn't. I had to restart. Other than that, 95% of the time it has come back to me. So that's a big one. And then obviously you have layers over here, which I know are different than the 1.7, but they're growing on me on here too, also. And we'll go over that here in a second. Got some examples we'll show. And then obviously you got um, one other quick thing we got is text now with the latest update, which I think a lot of people will like, is that once you're in text, for one, they added a bunch of new text to their basic fonts. Uh, but if you're in here and you hover over them, it actually changes the fonts. So you're not sitting there, got to select it, go back, select it, go back, select it, go back. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Just scroll through, arrow down, see everything, which is nice. Good one. So that's a nice one. As you can see how it puts it in the object list also now. So if you add that, so obviously, again, same thing. You have a line, a rectangle, circle, LRC. If you press those buttons, they'll give you those things. So press R. If you don't hold the shift button down, you can make any size. As soon as you hold the shift button down, it'll always be a square. So it's not a little tidbit. We're gonna jump in. So again, see rectangle, a circle. Again, if don't hold, you make an ellipse, whatever, hold shift. Shift always locks everything square. So really quick to change the colors to basically move it to another layer. So this is where it gets weird. Layers and colors kind of coincide. Layers are the colors. You are limited, unfortunately, to I think what 9, 8. So you only get 8 layers. And this is where the canvas question came back that maybe I need more canvases. You got something that doesn't go. Yes, the computer fonts are still available too. I wanted to let you guys know that there actually is a bigger library of XCS defaults in there just because of some of the stuff when they added the M1. So there's actually some line fonts, which are kind of cool. If you're doing some stuff on cardboard or like we do some earrings and we use a line font. It's actually a nice font to use. So, but to move to another layer, just click on your object, right click. Again, this is the same as what it used to be in 1.7. Nothing different here. Change it to another layer. But the other thing too, so L is line. This is actually a really unutilized feature. You can't do a lot with it, but it's good to, I want to say measure, but you can use it because you can snap it to certain things. And then I can kind of show some examples that I've been using it for lately. But again, if you hold shift, it will go straight 90. Unfortunately, it does not go 45, but you can always type it in. So, and then obviously you have the pen tool, which is so real quick while you guys see this. This is a snap. So this is why I'm getting these lines. So I'm snapping to areas. So this is the snap tool. I don't have to use this pen. It works on everything. The pen tool is 10 times better than it was in 1.7. I will use this all day long, every day. Use it to make a volleyball. The other option is to double click. It always does the equal bend. You can also go over here and there's extra nodes now. So the node thing is awesome because now you can edit every node. And then this is again where the design abilities now in XCS are catching up to Lightburn in my preference. But again, I still like to. I think I can compete with a lot of people like Lightburn with expert. There's only a few things that you can't do in XCS that Lightburn can do. So, but you do have options. So you get different types where you can do just one side, or you can do independently, which is good to do corners and stuff. You want to add a corner. If you want something to be sharp, it's not supposed to be sharp, just click it, squares it up. That's a nice feature too. You got something you wanted a square frame, grab it, and we'll go through and I'll show you some other stuff. The simplify will show on some other examples. And again, as long as you have a node clicked, it'll do everything. So this is another one that lets you do it's equal, but it's independently equal. It's weird. So yeah. So that's where those features are at. You can turn again the snap off, control R, and turn the snap off. Again, I'm a big hotkeys guy coming from AutoCAD background, so that's what that is. Obviously, scale, lock key is now on the right hand side. Another big one people have an issue with is the output in 2.0, is knowing where that's at. This here will turn off the output. So if you have the option selected, turn it on, turn it off. This doesn't send it to the laser. It'll still be on the screen, but it doesn't send the laser. The one thing I wish they would update is you can hide the object, but unfortunately it is still outputting to the laser. So this is we'll get a lot of people some issues. What's that? Underneath you. No, oh yeah. So real quick, I'll show you guys where output's at. I got a output is here. It was under me. This is why I have helpers. They tell me when I do stuff stupid. So output is under, and same thing with the user-defined materials. There's a couple things that I showed you guys that I forgot when I have my camera on. You guys can't see. This feature here is where you see your process screen. This is where I need people to chime in and say, hey, I can't see what you're talking about. So, but this is if your laser's going. So we go in process. I don't know if they'll let me do this because I'm not actually going to go into process. Yeah, because I don't have nothing set. And that's where the nice thing is. So you get like weird messages. You just got to figure out what they go for. Mostly it's heights not being set 95% of the time. Same thing with S1, P2, F1 Ultra. Those three will yell at you when you don't have your height set right. So, but vector. And right click right now, it has a lot more features. You can right click, obviously, bring the font, send it back. Those are all right here. Also, right at the right click button, there is a lock now where I can't accidentally grab this and drag it out of the way that it's hidden. So show it. So I can't actually grab this. You can lock a feature, which has been nice. So, especially if you do a lot of layered items, it's helpful. Show that. I'll lock it. So real quick, just so we're kind of like cover the basics for the cut. And you got to remember XCS, everything is technically a solid. That's why 95% of the time I run everything in engrave when I'm designing wise, at least. Obviously this one's on top of this one. You can flip it by running that backwards. So it's into the back. So now this one's sitting on top of this one. And this is where your cut and your extrude, I'm just like extrude, cut and union, subtract come into play. It always pushes the top one down if you're cutting. So if I select these two, and then both. I'm a big box select guy. I know people are like, I gotta select this one, I gotta select this one. As long as you have the two things that have a box around them, it will give that. So this gives you the option now to combine combine, subtract, union and overlap, which we'll explain this one. It's not a union or overlap. It's more of a trim tool. And then subtract at overlap, which a lot of people like that one too, I think. So union obviously combines the two. Subtract, again, takes the top item. That's where sometimes people got to pay attention. Takes your top item, pushes it to the bottom, no matter which way it goes. So again, if I'm the other way, front. So if I select them both, and I say subtract, it's going to push it through. It's the way you got to look at it. It's all like a punch. So going through the item. Now, obviously, you lose the one. So if you need that object, make a copy of it, know where it's at, kind of stuff like that. The other thing too is you can actually have open features now. So if I hit done, say I got this, even though this is a box, I can actually engrave this now. This was a feature that it wouldn't let you do before. So it does get a little funny, but it still lets you do that kind of stuff, even though it's not closed. So just a heads up. So, and then subtract. So subtract is weird because obviously I can subtract this way, but say I'm the other way. And this is what a lot of people run into if I'm flipped the other way. Want to copy that. Send it back. Something like this. Obviously, you're looking at it more like this. Then you hit subtract. It's gonna yell at you and say, "Hey, I can't do this because it's already on top and it's just gonna eat it away." So it's gonna tell you no. One of the things that you can do, and see if it lies to me, but subtract that overlap. So no matter what that's overlapped, now it's gonna cut out what's overlapped. So I use this a lot for ornaments. You're doing borders, subtract the overlap is what I use. So um, again, anybody, if you guys got questions, please put them in the chat. I mean, I can babble on forever about this stuff. Not a problem, but I'd like to try to answer as many questions as you guys got. So uh, I know one was the layers. So again, you have your list of layers. You have 7 layers. You can go in here, you can name them. You can then go in there and change the names. If you don't want to say hello, you can just put font. You can call it whatever you want. That's the nice thing. You can group them. So if you did put, if I put everything that's purple, you can go down here now and select purple, group it. Now those things in a group, you can actually go in there and I can see everything that's in a purple group. It is very, very beneficial, especially when you get a bunch of different stuff that come in and you want to kind of find that one thing. This is where this list is actually very beneficial. At first, I didn't really care for it, but they've definitely tweaked it and made it a lot better. So, put my ugly mugs back on the screen. So, but yeah, so that's a lot of that kind of stuff. There doesn't I guess that's whatever. So we'll go over this other stuff here in a second. That's the basics for that. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go into this object here. Well, this was a object I got from a customer, actually. A person who just got a hold of me on Facebook. Hey, I need help with this. This is how the file came in. It always comes in group now. Anytime you get a file, SVG, union something, anything like that, it comes in grouped together. I will ungroup it. I have used AI a little bit. It's very, I would recommend looking up and doing, because there's specific commands you have to give AI to get exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, there's definitely, so there's an AI feature. Just for other people that are asking this with a question real quick, so we'll kind of cover this real quick. You can go in here and do AI. I have not got the face sketch to work once, unfortunately. Uh, the laser generated art does work. It's kind of cool. I mean, these are some of the stuff that we've been able to AI create. Again, there's just stuff you ask it, dragon in the wood, mountain, blah blah. You know, Highland cow. These are the things I put in. Those are the kind of stuff things you can do. They do cost you. So obviously, you bought a laser, you're gonna have points. You get points. So, but you can do all these different types of things now. So there is ways around that. Obviously, in embossments, there's all kinds of different things now. Let's see what the specter art is. So it will do some line arts, but again, it's very you. I would recommend looking up AI command prompts because again, there's specific ones that really make things go to what you want it to do, from what I heard. So then, if you do get a screen like this where you want to get off it, Just go up to the right-hand corner, there's a little X, get you out of there. So again, back to this. So this file came in. Uh, it is all independent right now. So some of the things that happened on this one was there was a star over a star, like over a star. You know, obviously those are the things you really got to check, and you don't notice it until you're trying to do something. Like, why is this doing this 9 million times? Things like that. And then one of the new benefits for XCS 2.0 is you can actually go in here and edit nodes. So if I want to change this, do whatever I want with it, you know, make it not go over there. You want to grab both of them at the same time, you can move both of them. Those kind of things. This is where, like I said, this is a design change compared to what you had before, guys. I mean, you really can go in and clean up files, not have to worry about having that perfect file. You can clean it up and make it what you want it. So the other thing you can do, so say this comes in, we union this, it's unioned. I lost everything. Let's not do that way. Let's do it this way. Overlap. So now it's one feature, right? It doesn't, you know, it really, that sucks. That file came in really, really bad. We did not really what we want. So the thing you can do now is actually do this release compound vector, and you can do this on any file, any PNG, any SVG file you bring in, you can use these features. So you either got edit compound vector or release compound vector. So when you release compound vector, it looks like it's garbage and it doesn't work right now, but it's because I have engrave on. So again, it broke it back up. Now everything is separate, and it might not be exactly what you want, but that's where you can go in here and say, hey, you know, this one, and you know, these, you know, certain things need to go back together. It's probably not a good example. That did it actually break it up quite bad, but back up, and that's what the back button's for too. Undo. It's your friend, guys. Don't be shy of it. But that's where, like I said, you get something that you want to modify. You know, hey, I want to do this. Right now it's separate. Maybe I want it to be together. And this is another, you can make a compound vector. Now it's a union feature. Now it's together. And it's good if you have something more like, you know, choose this as an example. This would be something I would turn into a compound vector because I want that name cut out. So if that would be something I'd use this for. But it's still something, like I said, it's that, you know, again, go back, release it. It's still back to what it was before. And like I said, those features there are what's very user, yeah, allows you to do a lot more creative stuff. It's a very simple node thing. I'm gonna bring something in that's what we got. Again, guys, if you guys got any questions, please. Hopefully I'm covering some of the layer stuff that people are asking about. I know some people are asking, we'll do this with the next one. You know, jumping screens here. PNG file.
You might have covered this was the question on the.
I kind of did.
Material, so
Sorry, guys. PNG file. PNG files. So say you got one of these PNG files, you know, like this one. You know, a lot of us get these PNG files. You can download a JPEG file. So this is where people I know have a lot of issues with cups. You see how this is kind of get the hashy lines. This is why you get the hashy lines also. Just to let you know, PNGs are not they're cleaner, but they're not that's why you'll get the step sometimes to fix that problem. This is where the trace command is, it's wait and go. Again, I mean, most PNG files, it does a really good job on. As you can see, it grabbed everything really well. We got like a little spot up here, but I can live with that. They do have center tracing now, which in this case, it might work. But again, the center tracing, I think, is more for the M1, for the pencil to do single line drawings is what that is meant for, because it's very basic. See what it does. Takes a minute to generate that kind of stuff too. So, so yeah, I mean, this didn't turn out terrible. So if you had a pen for the M1, that's what the benefits of the center trace is for stuff like this, because now it can draw this out with a pen. It's weird, it doesn't let me go in and adjust this. So there's auto trace, you can go in there and change. When they say fuzzy threshold, there's things that you get like garbage data, trying to do a photo, stuff like that. But you can mess with the fuzzy settings. I don't know if it's going to do it in this one. See if it grabs a bunch of the crap or not. No, it's not going to. But so if you save it, now I have a SVG. I can cut, I can score. Because before on this one, I can only engrave. So if you ever get where it just says engrave, that's why. But now, like I said, this one, and it does come in groups, so it's always going to come in grouped together. So if I ungroup it, it comes in, everything's individually. I can go in here and edit nodes and see if it does this. So if you get something that's like really a lot of nodes, this is not a lot of nodes. I'm trying to find one that gives me a bunch. I want to show you guys the simplified. So this one, I want to simplify this one. If you hit the simplify command now, it actually cuts it back. Be careful, because if you simplify it too much, you'll lose detail on everything. So just gonna know which way is which. So sometimes it's handy, sometimes it's not. Yeah, it's getting worse. So that is something that's another feature that's very handy. You want to cut back on some of the nodes. So
Sometimes curves are like
yeah. The thing you can do is go in here, the scissor command. The problem with the scissor command, it's handy, but you have to have the nodes in between, because it only trims between nodes, and it doesn't trim if I add a node. Say I put that line in there, and I go to scissors. I mean, I still can only trim between that node. It's not going to let me. I have to add a point on that node. I do that the wrong way. That's the only downfall of the scissor one. I wish it was a little bit more robust and let me pick between the points I want to trim and then just add the nodes to it, but it helps in some aspects. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's still just easier to go in there, trim close to what you need, and then clean up what you don't want to have. But like I said, just the fact that you can go in there, clean up the edit, all the stuff is what's very handy. So the other option you guys can have, you guys were asking about this. So I want this one, copy, and go over to my Ultra. I can paste it on this screen. It's still there. You can go to any of them. You can go across any machine. You can go to any canvas. Copy paste works anywhere now. You can actually copy from your desktop and paste into XCS also. So if you go do a snippet on a picture or grab something you want, it'll bring in also. So just to let you guys know.
You clean up your files.
So let's see. I'm gonna kind of go back through again. If anybody got any questions, guys. Yeah, you guys gotta have some questions in there. Like I had two other ones. I think I answered both the other ones so far. So let's see. Let's go this one. Here's another one. So pictures. This is something new actually in 2.0. So pictures, you have the crop image filters, obviously, edit images. This is the magic wand. Say if I want to go, this fuzzy setting is not necessarily, it's more for white background. So if there was a white background or something that's a solid background, I really wouldn't use this in a photo. But just let you know. So the fuzzy setting is more like color shade. So grays, whites, blues, whatever that shade is, it will delete everything of that shade out. So, and then your undo button is actually on this board, not this one. So that's an option. Obviously, you have the erase tool if you want to erase, change the size. Those are those. You can technically trace. It gets sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how what kind of contrast and stuff you have in the photo. The one new thing I do like about in photos in 2.1 is the adjustments. You actually have sharpness and saturation and brightness now. You can actually play with a photo in XCS without having to send it to, say, Imager or stuff like that, and you can kind of get what you want out of it. So you want to darken it, you want to lighten it, and obviously you can see it goes to a grayscale as soon as I slide these. Uh, you're doing slate or black cups, black acrylic. That's what the invert button is for. So obviously it turns it to a negative. That's what that button is for. That is all under adjustments. Very handy. Stuff like that. So obviously whatever is black is what is gonna get engraved on slate or black acrylic. So on photos, that's true, Terry. On photos, I mean, you still have your. Let's go back to settings parameters. So, it's because the laser on one. So I'll say being on the S1, I mean, you still have your power and your speed. I think that's what you're asking, right? I mean, I know like when I was doing this file, when I change it, I mean, yes, you can still do you don't have much dithering, but I mean, you do, I guess. If it's a PNG, it'll still have dither on it. Let's check something. So yeah, I mean, you still can do Jarvis and all that stuff. So I'm trying to understand your question, Greg. For the vector, yes, we get the same. It really depends on, like I said, what you're doing with a file. Like something like this. I've actually done a couple photos where I've done. I actually like using this sketch. So I go to the filter, and I'll play with one of these sketch things. You know, I'm not sure, remember which one it is. Kind of like this one. I kind of like using this. It looks funny, but it comes out actually really cool. So, and I'll play with this one, and it looks more like a pencil drawing, stuff like that. Yes, you do lose the option to do and like I said, I normally don't trace my photos. I keep them as PNG files. It's more for like the words or the line art that comes in that way. That's what I'd use that trace feature for. I know some people have done tracing photos, but it's just not. You're right. I would definitely keep it this way. Ooh, yeah, that's a good one actually. uh, photos on glass. Yeah, you're braver than I am right now. I haven't played with that yet. So does it give us a setting? Now you got me curious, man. Let's look and see if the P2 has a setting for that. I'm curious now. Screen out there. Hmm. So again, when you go into more settings, this will give you this also. This is, and again, the downfall of this setting in XCS is it's online based. So if you're at a show and you click on this, it doesn't show up unless you have a Wi-Fi. So, yep, I'm connected to the P2 right now, George. Sorry, Greg. But yeah, so P2, let's see. Why is it no option? Yes. So that's kind of the settings they recommend for glass. I mean, that's kind of where I use normal engrave. Jarvis. So it's one of those things. I mean, it still gives it to you, tells you the kind of parameters. I think I've always bumped this up to like 15 on my stuff I have etched on glass. Again, I have not done a photo myself, but definitely something that's doable. So because it is knowing those settings, you know, don't not losing the detail and all that stuff. So, but let's see what else people got for questions. So another one, like I said, I like this picture. I use that one quite a bit. Let's go back. Let's see. No filters. Color. So another thing everybody can do is um masking on photos. Photos are a PNG file you can mask. Um, so the one benefit is, you know, you have to have one SVG file and only one PNG file. Because if I have two SVG files, it does not like it. Shapes. So one heart. So right now, if I try to do this, it doesn't give me the mask option because I have two different ones. But if I union these two, kind of funny, but now I select these both. I can go create a mask. I can move this around wherever I want it. I hit done. And now you got your mask. Obviously, you don't have your shape. You can actually select it, hit outline. Something I don't know why I didn't think about it earlier. And then just set it to 0. Now you have a cut line. So, or you can technically, yeah, did outline it. It's kind of weird. It didn't actually do anything. Weird it didn't stay sharp. Usually you set to 0, it stays sharp. So, interesting. So, let's see what else we got. We obviously got shapes. But yeah, then you can actually release the mask. So release mask. Your photo's still good. It's never disappears, never goes away. You can change. It's weird that I did that. Interesting. No, it's just did an outline, did a weird outline. Also, if anybody doesn't know, outline, you can actually go negative. You want to do inside numbers, you know, go the inside. The one downfall is it does put radiuses on stuff, so you gotta be careful of that. Hmm. What else do we got? Man, I feel like I'm kind of failing you guys tonight. What are the questions anybody got? Throw something at me. Somebody's got to have some questions out there. I'm hoping I answered yours, Greg, but I haven't really played with glass and photos, so I do more acrylics and stuff like that. So one other feature, obviously your batch fill, grid arrays, material tests. This is where your material tests are at also. So again, obviously you gotta have something selected. You know, let's do square. I really like squares. So when you're doing your material test array, for anyone that's new, Make sure you have your stuff set. This is the only thing that you really need to change. You don't have to have a material test. I've seen a couple people post YouTube videos. Hey, you need to set your material. No, you don't, because you're going to change it anyway. So there's no reason to set your material. All you need to have is this, you basically lines per centimeter, because it's the only thing that you can physically change, because everything else will change automatically when you do the grid. So, 100 usually the starting point. If you're starting to do stuff with the F1 or the F1 Ultra, I'd recommend kind of doing a 200. That gives you a lot, 200 or even a 300 test. So, but material test array, this is another nice feature. I can actually move this, which is awesome. But set your speed, your power. Again, depending on what you're doing, hard materials, obviously you can do 100 by, 100 power, 10 speed. It's not going to hurt nothing. Don't do it on leather. Don't do it on soft, plywood even. Stay out of the 100 power and 10 speed. It's going to catch on fire, guaranteed. So, but normally I try to do 10 by 10. That's my grids I like to use. Even these I've actually been changing to 0.062, not 62. They did me yesterday. Just puts everything tighter together. Stuff like that. Put anywhere. You can change it. It doesn't matter the size. So, and it does come grouped. You can ungroup it if you want to change the words and all that stuff, but I also don't have to. As you can see, this one's here is going to be 50 by 142. So 50 by 142 at 200 lines per centimeter. So again, just be careful, because if you do this and now I go up here and I change, and then see if it proves me wrong, because it's done it to me before. It did it to me last time. Then if you change your material, I want to say this is where people have it, and it will. Yeah, see, it changed it. So this is why you never do your grid and then set your material, because it will turn it to the same. This is where you'll see them do the grids and say, "Hey, why is my grid all the same?" This is why. So, so, uh, code generation. I actually use this one quite a bit for QR codes. You can put anything in there. You know, we have our website, so you put. I use this. I engrave it on keychains all the time. Uh, you hit save, creates a QR code. You can scan that. It'll take you to the website. Um, I actually like using, again, I don't like engraving PNG files, so I usually end up going here and tracing it. It's just my preference. Everybody else doesn't have to do that. These do trace a lot better because it was made in XCS, but I just feel that these engrave better. So, and then like I said, when we want to scan it, it does work. Hmm. I don't know. That's a good question. Let's find out. Don't know, because I don't know how much of it I can delete away. Let's just do a test here. Let's say you want to do a circle. I'm gonna say probably not. I have a feeling I'm gonna need this. Let's see. That's different. Why do that? I mean, that's a good question. I'm gonna say probably not, because I'm guessing this is gonna fail. Yeah, no. As soon as you take any of that part of that away, it really gets finicky. So even if you accidentally have something across it, it will not work real well. So I mean, maybe if you did it big enough where it was, yeah, probably not. I know that some people do, but you can like import like I know I actually did one for a lady that did it was her it wasn't Venmo. I think it was Cash App. They had her picture in the middle of it. You can bring those in and just do what I just did, just trace it and it will still work. Those will work because they're made to be that way. So this is just being because it's coming from here. Again, QR codes, any QR code. You can make it say words. You want it to say "Have a nice day." You can do whatever you want. So, or you can say anything you want. Somebody scans it and it says "Mind your own business." You can do that. You can type anything in this code generation. It can be anything you want up to 200 words. So, the advanced settings are more for if you're having issues with it reading. I just can't remember if 7% was better than 30%. I don't remember the which way is better. So see, Tracy, this is what you need to put on a hat. You put a QR code that just says "Have a nice day" or something like that. It looks like it's probably the thickness of the lines is what it ends up being. So there you go. Mind your own business. Exactly. You can do that. That's the cool thing. It's this big old QR code in the middle of a hat that says if somebody scans it, they'll find out what it says. It's one of those things. So same thing, you can do barcodes. If you're in the bar, you want your barcode, you can type in your barcode and they'll print out a barcode. And then batch fill, which some people have used. I actually use on my Ultra, worked very well on my Ultra. Uh, I've used it on the P2. It's okay, but it's still it doesn't orientate the parts the way I'd like them to. You still gotta go in there and rotate them and stuff like that. So let's see what else we got. I mean, obviously circle arrays, shape, shape. So again, circle array, one of those things. It's a good tool. I wish they would tweak it a little bit just to give me more of a center instead of at least they let me move this out of the way so I can see what it's doing. But um, obviously, you can change the location. So right now, what it does is it moves it in relationship to the center points, but it doesn't let me move it around. It's only downfall. So if you don't have everything shut off, it doesn't let you move that stuff. You can do that. Obviously, circles. You don't want it to do the rotated objects. It's a cool feature. It's just definitely, one of those things you can make clocks, stuff like that. Uh, so let's see what else we got. What else? Yeah, there was somebody to see. I know somebody asked about on the app, which I'm gonna try to pull up here in a second, but I think I can pull it up on my phone. Possible. We'll see. Because it is different. It's definitely better than it was because they finally brought Trace back and some other features, but it definitely you gotta definitely you lose like a lot of the note editing. You don't get that stuff on the app. So and that's both with a tablet and with Windows. You lose a lot of those features. So I'm trying to think what else we got. Okay, we go over all that stuff. Again, guys, any questions here? I'm gonna go through. We'll do a real quick ornament. I want to show you guys how that one works. Like we did this before, but a lot of people like making their ornaments, stuff like that. You can do offset. I'm not a number guy, but subtract with overlap. You can use subtract if it's set the right way. If it's not set the right way, it doesn't really matter. It's always gonna do it. That's why I like the subtract and overlap. Might not make that. That's gonna bug me. So obviously this is your lock. Unlock it to keep your aspect ratio, stuff like that. Let's see if you put in some trees. Badge fill. I'm reading. Let's change colors. Use that screen. So you got the badge fill can have different sayings in the batch, or does it have to go the same one saying? Has to be all one saying. It will be the same thing and just batches across. They have not got to that feature where we can put different or read a text file. It's been asked, so hopefully soon we'll be able to import like a text file with different names and it will change every time or something like that. Um, it's like gotta be behind there. Put that in there. Let's put. Those good. Those. Post line. Doing different things. So for something like this, if you want this stuff and you want to trim the outside edge of this stuff, guys, two things. I mean, you can use this. I normally just grab another circle, so we can make it a different color. And this is where the downfall of this easy set panel gets in your way when you got something that's right behind it. Kind of a pain in the butt. It's the only time it's a pain in the butt, but it is a pain in the butt. Uh, I hate when the screen does not like circle. So 8.7, 06, 6. Oh, another feature that's new to see what the hell? That makes no sense. Interesting. Swear I had that type of thing. Dude, what is that doing? Messing with me. Yes, I can show you text curves too. You can throw that in here too. Sorry, guys, I got my screen stretched, so it's messing with me. So there's also the new feature they have. They do have a line of center now on 2.0. I know some people that are still on 1.7, they'll love that. Not having to do vertical line, center line, blah blah blah. It's pain in the butt. So I added that. I'll show you why. So that yellow line, anything that's purple. This is like I said, the subtract that overlap, unite overlap. You click that, it's gonna. I mean, again, it's another one where you got to have only two features. It gets weird. Oh, I should have done the inside circle. You get the gist of it. It trims though. Should have done the inside circle. I did the outside circle. Well, that's what that's for. We want to add text that's bent. We got nice. Where to go? Where to go? Where to go? So this little icon right here, that you bend text. So that's how we bend text. Aspect ratio, if you want to change like the size and stuff, that's what your spacing and your height. Height is more if you have two words. Aspect ratio, obviously you want to bring the words because sometimes they get spread out. This is small increments. So if you want to bring them back together, negatives, positives do work, stuff like that. Um, It doesn't give you an exact size. I wish that was another thing. I wish they would actually give us a number I can type in. I want it 3 inches, 2 inches. Unfortunately, it doesn't. If you want a reference, do a reference line, a reference circle, is that size, and then you can kind of trace it. Then you're at least that arc. So that is one. Um, what else we got? I feel like I'm missing stuff. And like anything different than any other of these. Anybody else? Trying to think who we got. How we got? How we doing on people? If anybody else has got any questions that hopped in, they're here watching. I think I got 12 for two. Not bad. Again, we're kind of just basically covering people's questions. I had one that somebody sent me. Let's see if I can find it. I wrote it down in my notes. Go let me see. Let me see. Notes. Notes. Oh yeah, this was a good one that somebody asked about. So if you take something that's odd shaped, make this odd shaped. I think it'd be odd shaped. Union. We can do that too. So one is odd shaped, and you rotate it, and now you get this big ass box that we don't want to have around it. To remove this, yes. So really the difference between, real quick, the difference between unite and group. Group is a moving tool. Unite is combining your features. Because if you try to unite while things are grouped, it doesn't go well. Just to let you know, Tracy. Good one, Terry. Let me do this one real quick, guys. So this was another question that somebody brought. You get these things, and it used to make it if you're. I don't think it does anymore. It lied to me before, but sometimes it'll catch people if they pull it off the screen and like sitting like this. This is technically still on the board. It will yell at you. So this is technically off the screen, but on the screen, and it will say, "Hey, I don't know why I can't process because you have something off the board." That's why. If you want to get rid of that, um, this is actually how you do it. It's kind of a silly trick, but it's just a trick that I came across. Really, if you just select it, and again, you use the trim tool. Now it's back to the box. So again, just one of those little silly things that's kind of dumb, but it's nice to now I know that I'm this size by this size. One of the things that if you want a corner, you want to know where that 0, 0, you want to know where this upper corner is. But this corner is what is always, just so you guys know too, this corner is what is the XY coordinates that are on the screen. It's this one. Again, maybe that'll be into something else that they hop out. Hopefully someday they'll give us this corner or this corner or this corner or this corner or center. Those are things that have been asked, so hopefully soon. So, but now, like I said, early on, this was a big issue with not being able to keep stuff on the screen when you rotated and they were hanging off, and it said no, it wouldn't process. But I don't think it lets it. It still lets you process, even though you're hanging off the screen now. So if I'm like this, I think it still lets me process. And it might not because really. It still lets you do it now. But like I said, if I'm sitting here, it will yell at me, which is weird. Let's see, it's how plus is outside the area. So Any other questions? Does anybody have? Let's see, was there any other question about it? Maybe another question in there. I know there was another one that somebody asked me about. Settings, like I said, most settings for most lasers, obviously, test, test. That's all I can say. Do different things, do weird things. I mean, we found one that on the S1 that we run our engrave at 20. And so that's the one thing we'll bring up. When you do the by layer, because right now it defaults when you put a file on. Let's go to this one, canvas, go back to this trundle, this one. So say you're doing this and you wanted it, certain layers, you want different colors, stuff like that. You double click it, goes into it also. So if you want these to be different, this is where you having different colors comes into handy. This box. If you want certain things to engrave before they score, this is where your layers come into play. So this order can be changed. So if you want your red order to be going first, or your purple layer to go first, this is where you can have multiple engraves, different settings. So my purple layer could be engraved at 20% power, you know, 30 speed, stuff like that. So, and they let you do some pretty cool stuff because I do one right now. Like I said, we engrave it at 20 power, and then I go back and I actually trace it. So I'll have a copy of just like maybe the outline of the words, and I trace it dark, and it really makes that thing pop out. It's kind of cool when you do that. So, and that's what you can do. So if I want to copy this one, you know, I can just do copy, paste, score, you know, our trace is green. Select those two, line center. So now those two are done, and I can go back there and I can say, hey, I want the yellow layer to go first. Because if it don't, score will always go first. So it'll always be score first, engrave, and then cut. If you let it go by auto planning. So obviously you have to go in here and change this by layer, turn this on, and now it's going to follow this layer process. So, um, so that's another thing with that kind of stuff. So,
Somebody asked about QR codes setting.
yep, we'll go back to that one. So the settings on the QR codes, let's see, I think that was on two settings. This one. This one. So QR codes, I mean, really, it's just the difference between sides. I know there was some questions, and I'm not sure if this is an easier read or if this is an easier read. They both will scan. It's more of an engrave. I think the thicker line would be easier to engrave than the thinner lines. And that's where, again, goes back to the code generation. That's where this percentages. Play with them, do one that works. I would definitely play with that kind of stuff. So, but again, you can put anything in here. It don't have to be a website. You can do your Facebook page. I have one for my Facebook page and sorry guys, my website, on my business cards. I put all that stuff on my business cards, and I don't have any issues with that stuff coming up. Everybody's able to scan that stuff. So it comes down to that. So if anybody else has got any other questions, I hit my hour and a half. So Joe, with that, that's where the layers do come into play. So if you have one, that's where I can select just over here and now grab, let's go back to that trim bill. That's back to this. If I have these all different colors, or if I don't, I mean, You can keep them all black if you want, but that's where, this comes in handy if you want to grab just a single item like that without having to go over and hover. That is where, just to let you know, that is one of the settings. I think if you check your settings, it might be defaulted off, but the precision or yeah, it's precision vector path selection. If that's checked off, you'll have a lot of issues. But obviously, if they're right over top each other, it does get difficult still. So that's where the layers come in handy. But I would definitely recommend selecting that one on. So let's see. Anything else, guys? I'm trying to cover everything. I need you guys come with some more questions next time, though. I expected more questions.
Well, they gotta play with it first.
I know. All right. So obviously, if anybody knows S1 Octane background, obviously that's if you're using your camera, you gotta use your phone, all that good stuff. So that's what that's for. Like I said, there's all kinds of. I mean, I could do videos on each of these lasers. That's what the in depth of this stuff can be, man. So because they all have their own little twerks and things. I mean, most of the design stuff is the same. That's what's nice is you can do it from one laser to the next. It's just being careful with turning that stuff. So, any questions, Joe? We can hit it whatever you got. I know I covered a lot of stuff. I have no problem going back and over twice. So I'm gonna turn my mug off so I can show a couple people that came in late. Real quick for anybody that came in late in XCS 2.0, your material list is now in this right hand corner, and then also your process list is right here. As I know some people have asked, hey, how do I know if I go minimize my screen when I'm processing? This is where you go back. You'll have a list of whatever is running at the time. So again, I do these every month, last Thursday of every month. Like I said, if you guys like my page, you'll get a notification when they pop up. So I kind of do this kind of same thing where I'll run the basic through. Because I mean, everybody's buying lasers. I mean, everybody sees it in the groups. Definitely a growing thing. So I'm here to help out whatever I can. Like I said, if anybody wants some one-on-one time, hit me up on Facebook. We can work something out. So anybody else does not have any questions, like I said, I appreciate it if you'd like my page. It helps me out. So, like I said, we'll go on to the next. Be done for the evening. So, thanks, guys. We'll see you next month. Have a good night.
Yes.